GM everyone. So today I want to talk about the four tiers of being a reply guy. Tier 1 being in the junior role and tier 4 being the ultimate reply guy level. Think of it this way. There's a junior social media manager, then there is a social media manager, then there is a senior social media manager, and then there is a social media manager lead. And if you operate on tier 3 or tier 4 as a reply guy, then you can charge up to $3,000 a client and you can handle up to 3 clients simultaneously. And how do I know this? Because I've personally done it. Let's dive into it. So, what does it mean by being a tier 1 reply guy? First of all, this is a junior position. And this is where most people start. They're a junior and they speak fluent English. However, what stops them from being a tier 2 reply guy? The main thing that they need to do is expand their knowledge. They have no knowledge of a specific industry, in this case being Web3. And also, a tier 1 reply guy can't grow your presence online, specifically on Twitter, with having no specific industry knowledge. However, let's go to tier 2 reply guy. Tier 2 reply guy speaks native English, right? Or fluent English. However, they live and breathe Web3. They understand the inside jokes, they understand the trends, and they don't sound like an outsider, right? So this is what separates a tier 2 reply guy from a tier 1. They're not an outsider of the Web3 space. And ultimately, this is actually where real relationships start to get built. Because if you give a normal comment that has no understanding of what the account you're interacting with speaking about, then they're never going to check your profile and they're never going to press a follow button. You need to live and breathe Web3, and you need to understand how to interact with others. So this leads to tier 3 reply guy. So tier 3 reply guy speaks native English, lives and breathes Web3, is not an outsider, can build real relationships. However, they are able to follow the tone, the style, and guidelines of the company. I spelled that wrong. Guidelines of the company. They need to understand the tone of the company. They need to know how the company writes and what style they use. And they need to know, most importantly, the guidelines to follow in order to minimize mistakes when doing their job. And not only this, but a tier 3 reply guy has basic skills of tools such as Canva for quick edits of anything, even if it means replacing a face from one to another. An example, you need to have basic Canva skills. And not only that, but you must be able to create memes. When I say being able to create memes, I mean utilizing tools such as image flip in order to utilize already existing meme templates with a relevant situation in the reply section of a comment to the profile. Meaning, when you reply with a meme, it's relevant, right? You need to be fast, adaptive, and be creative with this. So, tone, style, guidelines, basic Canva edits, and using meme templates that already exist through tools like image flip. However, they do differentiate a lot from tier 2 because ultimately, by using all of this, they create emotions, right? A laughter, especially from memes, is creating an emotion. and ultimately building relationships with the people you're interacting with. And not only that, but tier 3 reply guys steal the spotlight in the comment section. Now, tier 4 reply guy ultimate level. So a tier 4 reply guy speaks native English, lives and breathes Web3, is not an outside, builds relationships, follows the tone, the style, and guidelines of the company, being able to have basic skills of Canva, use meme tools such as image flip, create emotions, and steal the spotlight. But now they not only have basic Canva skills, they have intermediate Canva skills. They need to make fast edits on the go. And that require a little bit more than just basic knowledge. Not only that, but a tier 4 reply guy knows how to use AI tools. When I say using AI tools, I don't mean using it for the text that you write. What I mean is that you can create images. And by the way, this is a very specific case. And tier 4, not every company needs a tier 4 reply guy, by the way. But a tier 4 reply guy can charge $3,000 per month for 50 replies easily. Because if you're using AI tools such as ChatGPT to create an image, especially if the company has a mascot and you're doing it on the go, you ultimately just replaced a 5,000 per month graphic designer just because ChatGPT decided to be able to create images that are on point. So, yeah, this is a real thing, and AI tools must be learned by everyone. And by the way, using ChatGPT to create images, 4 hours of research will do the job. However, what else is needed to differentiate from tier 3? DM outreach. You need to be able to outreach through DMs. You must be able to spot partnerships. I'm spelling it wrong. Partnerships. And you must be able to spot potential collaborations with other projects. Not only that, but if the company you're doing a reply guy for has marketing campaigns, or it has campaign activations, you must be able to amplify or, oh no, I keep on clicking this button. Sorry about that. You must be able to boost the campaign or the activation. Let me give you an example. I was working with a company called Blast Royale, and they were leading up to their TGE event. I worked with them for 2.5 months, and in that time, I generated them over 1.5 million impressions, which helped them secure in 1 million TGE event. This was a tier 4 ultimate reply guy, and this was an example that, I use a DM outreach for potential partnerships and collaborations. We boosted their campaigns and activations through the reply guy method, and it gave them a result of 1 million in funding through TGE. Finally, I do want to point out to any company looking to hire a reply guy, please do not make your social media manager do the reply guy. both jobs have their criteria, and both jobs require different skill set. So, leaving you with this, I would like to tell you, have a good day in the trenches, and I'll see you soon. Take care.